Sofri pra aprender. Eu tô de volta na vibe. Fazer assim. Ela quer voltar mais pra trás. Sofri pra aprender. Cadê? É o jogo, né? Puta, mas saúde. Promoção, é pra promoção, amor. O que eu esqueci? Mentira, velho, um negócio desse. Tá acreditando nisso não? Foi, velho, já que a atualização era baixa, pequena, velho. Sofri pra aprender. Merda do caramba, velho. E aí, Luffy, bicho, eu não esqueci da atualização, eu jurava que era pequena, bicho. E aí, Luffy, como é que tá aí, cachorro? Tá bem, mano? É vacilo da porra, bicho. É o jeito. Eu acho que hoje vai dar melhor. Foda, velho. Esse sabe que, rapaz, tem algum jogo aqui pra mim. Não vou gás não. Aí me quebra. Eu tenho que baixar tudinho. Não vou jogar esse Tambogar, não sou feito fresco, não. Brincadeira, velho. É brincadeira, hein? Logo um dia de hoje tá rindo. Tô fora, esse jalinho aí eu deixo pra tudo. Você que gosta de um tal de jalinho aí, deixa pra você. Então, pô, demora pra tu atualizar. Valeu, Lu, valeu mesmo, mano. Vou trabalhar aí. Bicho, eu pensei que era atualização de 200 mega, 300 mega, tá ligado? Não de 36 GB, pô. Tem nesse meu PC tem isso pra baixar, pô. Baixando dá 36 GB. Acho que não é isso tudo, não. Cuidando e cachorro da porra. Deixa eu ver se tá tendo alguma coisa no canal. Se tiver, eu faço transmitindo. Eu vejo o vídeo, a nova atualização. A Data Force. Pra pesquisar o canal da Data Force não tem. Data Force canal. Arena Data Force Brasil. Ele. Opa, 27 horas atrás. Vídeo mesmo. Por enquanto, nos vídeos, né? Deixa o like, drop, deixa o like. Está alto, né?
Time to get to work. Rule 1 of bounty hunting. Maximize returns. Reduce cost. Don't waste bullets. Rule 2, teamwork. We're based on Rule 1. I suggest no teams. Rule 3, no witnesses. No evidence. Keep a low profile. Only prey gets captured on camera.
So who's the old guy?
I don't know, but he has possession of the Skynet Mandelbrick we're after.
Tá entendendo tudo?
Good thing we acted early.
Let's make this quick.
Vê se no BR tem. Nada, tô falando. Uma arena da outra coisa. Já aí dentro. É, pra eles postaram os mesmos vídeos. Oxi.
Fica tranquila, que a Havk vai cuidar de você. Alerta, invasão GTI detectada.
A gente tem que sair daqui.
Estamos no meio do procedimento. Se a gente parar agora, vamos colocar ela em risco.
Então é isso. Só temos essa opção.
Cara, a animação foda da porra.
Claire Ann Byers, codinome Tempest, operadora de assalto. Claire é uma atleta e entusiasta de esportes radicais. Foi tratada pela Havk depois de um ferimento quase fatal. A Havk implantou nela um reforço espinhal avançado, recuperando e potencializando suas habilidades físicas. Como operadora, Claire se especializa no uso de equipamentos táticos para realizar ataques surpresa em situações extremas, desorganizando formações inimigas e escapando de zonas de perigo.
Tá bom, é que vai chegar rushando assim.
Rápido, complementando sua capacidade
Tá em vídeo
de
mesmo.
causar desordem no campo de batalha. O equipamento tático de Claire inclui um dispositivo de evasão de emergência, que cria um ponto de ancoragem ao qual ela pode ser puxada de volta quando ativado. Ela também pode usar o dispositivo para se recolher a uma área segura caso seja abatida durante a ativação.
Tratado de Reginaldo.
Ainda não tô desistindo. Olha, parece que tem algo queimando. Tudo bem, vamos lá.
Poxa, ela se cura, é que a apelação da porra. É essa? Caralho. É o famoso Reginaldo. É, o jeito vai ser aqui mesmo, aquele vídeo. Não. É o vídeo que eu tava. Ah, começar aí tu me quebra, né, porra?
This quick.
The wolves are circling.
Identify the target. Do not shoot.
Don't worry. I respect my elders.
That's right. And otters don't kill cubs.
I've lost visual. Expanding search area.
Bring it on, Grandpa!
O pau quebrando, eita porra.
Kai. What a pain. Don't shoot. She's just knocked out.
Where's the mandel brick?
Find it yourself. Next time, try not to lose sight of your enemy.
Who the hell are you?
Long story. Oh, look who's here.
Cut the crap. Whoever you are, tell me where the mandel brick is and I'll let you go.
My intel doesn't come cheap.
Advise you to stay out of this.
It's a little late for that.
Cara, a animação foda da porra. E aí eu jogando, né?
We're going home, Landon.
fault system. Bury them here. Leave the mantle brick behind.
They're gonna bury us. Move it. Listen, the brick cannot fall into the hands of GTI High Command. Go! Forget the damn brick! Get back!
Mentira da gol.
No one gets left behind.
É só peteco.
Are you certain you saw it happen?
I'm positive. Saw the brick get buried in the fault with my own eyes.
A fault. A large fire was started by the Asara Guard in Layali Grove. Preparations are... There's some things you need to know.
Mandou break. Tan.
Você vai escolher o guerreiro, o mago ou o caçador? Bom, em Albion Online, você não tem que escolher. Não existem classes.
É o jeito de se assistir algum negócio por enquanto.
Recognizable names here, some names that folks at home probably know if you've been watching these competitions, but I have a group to the finals today. The top 5 overall, though, from those groups of regional semifinals did make it towards this. Admin is going to be the without a brick, and then bricks all the way through with Space City in 4, 5, and 6. Now, Tiff, let's talk about what we can expect from these non-brick rounds. This is a really important piece to this competitive scene because, yes, you could be a team like Mantle Brick Addiction in EU who picked up 2 Mantle Bricks and had some of the lowest loot value across the board. They just clutched up when they needed it most. But in these rounds where you're not getting Mantle Bricks, talk to me about what we'll expect to see on the map and maybe some key points about what teams will do.
Yeah, your job on these initial matches, especially match number 1, is just kind of get in the map, get a feel for the lobby, but not only that, loot your absolute heart out. Get as much value out of that initial match 1 as you possibly can. If you go down here earlier and end in the negative, it really sets yourself up for that uphill battle where you have to essentially go into a Mantle Brick round and start that regain. So maybe we'll see people electing to use some of those assault operators more often than not here right off the beginning, maybe partnered with an engineer, but typically those engineers are so much more valuable in the Mantle Brick rounds when you have to go on the hyper defense during a decode. So I really want to see people moving around Zero Dam super quickly and then get out with all of that value, plus maybe a couple kills to really bolster it. However, when you think about what we saw in EU Goj, is the spawns were so weird on Zero Dam that we really didn't get any fighting until like the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, spawns absolutely dictate it. There's a whole rule book on how all this works, but we're jumping straight into the game and we'll check out where they spawn this time around and see if there's maybe a couple teams contesting admins to start, and that is certainly the case. This one a bit more normalized as we see both Inc and SFC both sprinting at admin, likely going to be our first encounter, pending what happens in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen between Visitor Center and Substation. Admin is going to be the priority position, and already we're finding some decent loot on main across the board, actually in Submit Plant. That's Mingu picking up 187k item, believe some coffee beans. But admin's gonna be a fun fight to watch. Now, the other thing about these non-Middle Brick rounds, quickly, by the way, we jump into this. And likely going to be our first engagement here against Saeed. Hopefully able to find some good loot. It doesn't look like Ink's going to get here quick enough. Is that there are airdrops that drop. And if you haven't watched this, they have great loot and a potential for the AWM and about 10 rounds of ammo. A key factor for some teams to potentially find success on the map.
I love all those good shout outs. And as I kind of look at what our teams are utilizing here in terms of their operator composition, you do have kind of SFC, who did spawn up an admin, starting off grabbing 2 stingers. We're just burning stinger all together. Done, dusted, and Nox as well. So I like the play of Nox. We do typically see the majority of teams just not using Nox at all throughout the 6-game series, but you do have the ability to kind of get out and move and maybe focus on the fights with that. Here, you also have another assault operator. You got D-Wolf, we've got Shepard. We're feeling pretty good with this, and I think this is a good start.
Se você quer criar app, mas não faz ideia de como programar ou por onde começar, conheça.
No, I totally agree. SFC, again, they've actually looted up quite nicely. Found a stopwatch and a fossil, totaling about 600k roughly between just those 2 items. So take the early lead in terms of the loot categories. Yeah, I think it is worth mentioning. I mean, you see Infant Baby also with the Nox. What we saw from EU is that nobody liked playing Nox for the most part. Nox is the least played operator across 6 games. So burning it early to make sure you have whatever you want if it does go to 6 maps, not a bad thought. Also not a bad operator, depending on how you play them. It just kind of forces a certain play style. It doesn't have quite as much utility in some of these true 3v3 fights where you have to play kind of front to back, but assets obtained. JTH finds something off screen that we didn't see, pushing them up to 2.4 mil. I'd love to see if we can get an observer to take a look at that. I didn't see it pop up on the right unless I was blind, which is very possible because I'm really focused on this fight in admin. Again, it's a fight that'll likely take a long time, Tiff, but we'll see where it goes from here.
I mean, that's what I was kind of anticipating, is a lot of our teams were going to move rather slow. Once you really start upping the ante, considering what we saw in regional semifinals last weekend, sure, maybe a couple fights right off the rip, but this here and now, you are guaranteed top 2 to go to lane, which is why would you want to go out early? And then you can see the mantle, a fossil. We're feeling pretty solid here.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Nice.
It's like 500 plus just that player alone. Loco jumping up, joining his team. Patience being a virtue right now. And there's the look at it. This is JTH, I can only assume. Top secret server found. 2.1 mil. I was wondering what jumped them up. There they are, JTH. I was wondering what jumped them up to the top of the leaderboard. Nice find, gentlemen. This is a big one. And finding that in substation. Yeah, they're finding that in substation. A nice one.
They're like, oh my gosh, the loot gods have absolutely blessed us here in match number 1. But you think about the spawns that we saw on our prior regional finals, and just because they started good did not mean they got that luck throughout the entirety of the event. But still, at that 11-minute 30 mark, and no real issues just yet. But if I'm a team that has found maybe 2 to 3 mil, I can pop and grab the airdrop. Maybe I focus on leaving at that point.
Yeah, it's not a bad thought. I mean, if you're able to stuff your safe box full, we do allow safe boxes. They're all mandated and dictated to that 3x3. So you kind of have this buffer zone where you don't have to send someone out until you start filling up safe boxes fully. And obviously, a lot of these teams put good loot that they're bringing into the safe box. Just in case they die, they'll be able to use it in the next round. You know, the usual strats. Again, one of my favorite parts about this, while we have this kind of moment to breathe, one of my favorite parts about this new tournament format, we do find it. Ooh, nice watch there from Bayzona. That's 210k. This really does feel like pubs. I mean, it obviously way sweatier. It's custom lobbies, but everything that you experience in pubs, you mostly experience in customs. Some slow fights, sure. If you die, you lose all your gear. You can use your safe boxes. Really a good representation, rather, of what you'll find and how you play the normal game. Just way sweatier. These teams playing really slow right now. But this is a classic strategy we see in Zero Damn Tiff. We see a team early get to the extract, SFC. They actually have a decent amount of loot, so they could take this. Lower loot value than maybe they would have liked, but they're trying to bait out a fight here at Dam.
É o
There
drop.
goes the first airdrop. We'll likely go
drop
back to
chegando,
that
moço.
fight. But it looks like JTH should have the positioning advantage in terms of being able to get the first team over there towards that airdrop. Likely going to find some nice armor or potential helmet.
Yeah, this is something we see often is you do have a Sneaver operator playing for these airdrops. It's quite easy. Send the Sneaver operator up with the shield, play behind it, and loot it up. Let's see what they find. You're right. Nice gold helmet to start things off and some tequila. Why not?
Hey, it's all fun and games. More tequila, right? It's a party.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we're getting some great loot. Not bad at all. Got a CD here for nowhere. JTH. That's Jack Tan and Handsome. So far, so good for this squad. They are looting up. First airdrop down. 2.1 mil red that they found earlier. They're feeling really comfortable right now.
Yeah, at this point, this would be a solid time to go ahead and take that early exit. And once you start thinking about exits, look at SFC here. Now, this is a strategy that we've definitely seen tried out. I've seen it go either way. This morning in EU, well, the team that was camping the extract didn't actually pan out to be the one that took the extract.
Yeah, that's so true. I will say, let's pay attention to what Spades is rocking right now. PKM in hand and actually has some gold ammo in the inventory here. I believe they picked that up from Saeed. So we'll shred whoever walks through this door immediately, if anybody does. About 60 seconds on that clock. This will likely be our first fight, though, as Ink has spotted out a team close by, or at the very least heard them playing this off angle. See who peeks first. So far, nobody.
I mean, I really love that we're just being hyper conservative. There's a good chance that they're going to filter out through this. Ink Killzol should be able to pick up one, but I love that they send the Saniva out first to kind of peek with the shield, and immediately not connecting on that kind of gives you the signal of, oh, hey, they're going to look to reposition. This is probably not going to come through, but elsewhere you got black and yellow skies starting to kind of open it up here against Mengu.
Yeah, Bay with the first pick. Here's Skies. Black and yellow, it takes way too long for me to say, so I'm going to call them Bay today, as their abbreviation dictates. Notably in yellow, by the way, which is nice. The first knock of the first map. Almost trade out one. SFC are out of here, by the way. Nobody can test them in that damn extract, and they are out of the map. And it looks like JTH sent nowhere out of the map as well to assure that they can get all the loot that they want out. The other two likely going to stay to play spoiler. Watch out for Jack Tan and Handsome in the white or the gray, swinging around this map trying to find some kills in the last 5 minutes or so.
I'm surprised that no one decided to push on in early, but I think SFC definitely made the right call. I think getting out with north of 2 million is brilliant. We saw a lot of people leaving early on, like you said, with that JTH. For Ink, I think it's time to get mixy, right? We haven't really found a ton of the loot that some other teams may have, but what you can do is start anchoring down and get those 300k per kills. Plenty of them left on the board here.
And not taking the dam extract does kind of force people's hand. We've got Dam Crest as an extract point, and then the repair passage as an extract point. Worth noting, they've got some asterisks on getting out of the map. We've seen that time and time again. The no backpack extract. And there's the second airdrop. We found our first AWM. A big take. Now you got to get out of the map with it. Can't put this stuff in your safe box, so you got to play with it in hand and hope you don't lose it.
Oof.
A lot of loot value, obviously, but more so the value that comes with this weapon. We all know this weapon far too well, oftentimes at the hands of our enemies. One-shotting us as we're running across the map on Space City. We'll see what Ink's able to do with it.
Well, Ink did have, I think, 6 kills during the regional semifinals, so substantial. Killzol actually walked away with double digits. The only player from the regional semis to have double-digit kills. So a team that could really benefit from having the AWM for sure.
A good shout. It's the first body, the only body that's been cut down thus far. They's going to try to get that loot up if they can. Well, here's the damn extract again. There was enough timer on the actual map itself, albeit a 16-minute map. Yes, they are a bit shorter than normal pubs. It was able to be pulled again, I believe, from the substation lever. We've got another damn extract, and it is in time before the map is over. You can see the damn extract has got 3 minutes left on the clock, and the map's got nearly 5, so plenty of time to get out. And now, a repeat of history. What just happened a moment ago, this time likely contested. You see AKA holding the damn extract, kind of actually out in the open right now, maybe trading loot. If they're not careful, Ink's going to take a look at this and catch one unaware.
I'm imagining they're going to hear it, but if I'm Ink, you cannot assume that you are the only team walking up in here.
Yeah, somebody pulled the lever.
But this angle. This angle from January, though.
Yeah, box is set up decently. Only problem here is it really comes down to who knocks first. Okay, we do have a Viren. This is what I was curious about. Missing the left-hand side, aka 60 MG with the Viren. It's gonna early burn this knockdown, which, if it would have landed, maybe they could have pushed on it. They've got a Saniva on their side as well. The Sonic Paralysis coming in. They were likely expecting a full push, so we went ahead and tried to knock them down to stave off the push. So far, so good. Smokes galore. They do swing in. They make it inside technically. The battle for the ages here to start things off. Finally, a full team of 3 versus a team of 3. 1 week on the side of Ink.
Yeah, those traps right there, but the swinging on 60 MG, and he falls first. Unfortunate now, Articuno. January healing back on up. The Saniva with the shield down. Just trying to get closer. Leaves his back on open.
Yeah, this is brutal. And all of a sudden, look who comes in for the third party. Bay, black and yellow. Getting into the mix and taking down the final remaining member of that squad, aka full out of this map. And Ink has taken the power position inside the dam. There's still plenty of time left on it, 70 seconds or so. You gotta remember, there's 2 members of JTH running around the map trying to play spoiler. We told you to watch out for him. Equal plays, get a third party, the third party. Make it a fourth party potential. Here we go. Equal plays as a solo.
O jogo épico de ação online War Thunder está pronto para detonar a sua rotina entediante. O encoraçado
slow walking into this fight.
Oh, picks up a little bit more speed. Captures one off guard. Doesn't get the knock. Okay, so now not only that, we've given away our presence, and black and yellow has full scent inside. Start looking through it, but I mean, you've got to realize that we burned a lot of our kit just to get in terms of our abilities. So, just kind of bleeding on out from a massive nade coming in from Killzall.
That's a triple kill with a nade?
And it's, yeah, the incendiary just went gnarly in there. Oh my god.
This is the problem with the damn extract. If you force the push into that corridor on the left-hand side, a couple well-placed nades, all of a sudden a full team wipe. Ink is up big right now. And with 15 seconds remaining, Equal Play is going to catch the tail end of this and try to catch one unaware. They're absolutely peeking you. A nice take. Rip some of the shields, rip some of the health, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to go for the triple blaster play here. There's just not enough time. Even if he gets a knock here, they're going to get out of the map. He knows it. They know it. They're out of the map. Equal Play is not able to do too much besides scare a couple folks. And Sing Song gets out of the map through the no backpack extract on the other side to the north of barracks. Well done from JTH, but even better job from Ink. All 3 out with a ton of kills.
I am just shell-shocked, right? And you do still have in the safe box that hyper valuable item. So I'm really not too worried about it. You can see it's going to take up the whole thing. It's worth what, 2.1, 2.2? Yeah. That is where the majority of their value and assets is coming through. But I feel like those are one of those clips that we need to see run back from, I believe it was Killzall's POV, right? I want to see the arm that threw the nade, that connected, and completely took out everyone.
Yeah, that's wild nade. Equal Play knows he's last on the map, or should be near last on the map. We do have Mango's team floating out there somewhere as we're trying to write some words into the wall. We'll swing over to see where they're at. Does look like they're trying to get out on the south side of the map. Should be able to extract here. Ooh, just barely in time. Not a ton of loot, but hey, we lost one player earlier. We played nice and slow. We keep 2 alive. Better to get out than not, frankly. So nice job from them to maintain whatever loot they've got moving into the next round. No problem at all. Got a decent amount of loot. See the cordless drill. Used to be worth a lot. Not as much anymore. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I reference it every single show. I used to farm those things. But decent loot in the safe box. Mango's team, 2 players getting out. A very interesting first map of the day, Tiff. I gotta say, a little bit slower than I was expecting, but some really fun team fights towards the end. Harry, that got well into double digits. Not here. All the way down at the south side of the map. Of stingers across the board. So as we move into brackish, interesting to see what the operator choices are, but even more interesting to take a look at this map. And Tiff, so as not to monologue too much before we start, I will say this is the first Middlebrick round for North America, so I do want to explain to the people at home how this works very quickly. Mandelbricks are everything. Yes, once it's stolen, it resets the timer. So you can see it's stolen 10, 15 times potentially. The lowest that timer can go once it's stolen in the decoding station is 1.5 minutes. Goes down every 30 seconds. It starts at 3.5 minutes. The second steal would be 3 minutes, and so on and so forth. But the lowest it can go is 1.5 minutes. There's a chance we could run out of the clock. And the last note I will make for the people at home is you have to be alive when the Mandelbrick finishes decoding. A post-mortem Mandelbrick decode does not count towards your total. There's all my rules and regulations, Tiff. As we jump into the action, talk me through this map.
All I see are 3 teams full sending it straight towards Royal Museum. The difference maker here is that AKA is going to be one of them that is rotating in from the southern side of things. They are going to have a differential when it comes to the fights here because 2 of the players are walking in with the blue helmet, blue armor. As you can see, Articuno will be one of them. 60 MG is the only one on purple. Granted, they are coming in with purple ammo, so I'm feeling a little better about their chances in terms of fighting, but they need to be able to shoot hard and hit first.
That's right. 3 teams around the Mandelbrick. And again, it is on a timer before you can pick it up. That timer is roughly around 3 minutes at the start. So you're going to see that when it gets to 17 minutes, that's when they're going to be able to actually grab the Mandelbrick. So these teams are just setting up for that right now. But it was Bay in yellow. Black and yellow, I think you just mentioned. Not here. All the way down at the south side of the map. Really important for them. Likely going to see black and yellow be at the top of the leaderboard in terms of loot value this game, if they're able to loot up all of the Tower of Babel by themselves.
Let me give it a...
All right, get those traps out, January. Okay, so at least we're kind of getting situated to look for a siege here into Royal Museum. Now, of course, you do have SFC that is towards the north of the map. Now, you think about the decoding stations. Typically, we've been seeing Market a lot more lately. Asura Camp still relatively open and definitely proves for some crazy sight lines. Hotel, oftentimes not going to be that favored choice. So still got to keep tabs on where we're moving. But JTH has actually found themselves out on the western side of Royal Museum. So if something does go amok, which of course it will here inside the museum once that Mandelbrick spawns, they're going to keep close tabs on it.
Great shout. We'll keep you updated on where our teams are at. Right now, SFC in the green is on the north side of the map around the market. And start creeping towards the museum as well. The south side of the maps contain Tower of Babel is going to be Bay. Right here, of course, the layer cake. And I apologize, it's 3.5 minutes, not 3, my bad. Should open up here at 16:30. And then you're right, Jack Tan and Handsome just outside the museum, just off screen, waiting for this first team to grab the brick and sprint out of this POI. Everyone patient.
Yeah, definitely patient, but black and yellow found a nice red item worth like 300k. So definitely paying off looting the Tower of Babel for them. But they're going to be late to is this Mandelbrick, but they're going to have access to potential easy rotation up towards the decoding stations.
Yeah, great shot, and they're proving that we know ball. When you have the Tower of Babel to yourself, you're going to be at the top of the leaderboard on the left-hand side. You see them at 1.7. Here's a quick look at that map that we just broke down, by the way. It does look like SFC's actually crept in way closer. They're getting into this action here whenever it does break out. The brick is able to be grabbed right now. And there are 3 teams inside the museum, 2 teams holding the outside, and black and yellow just getting every piece of loot they could possibly get their hands on. Let's see who moves first.
This is very similar, Goj, to what we witnessed
Deixa
on the
vai jogar.
semifinals that were happening last
Peraí,
weekend. Is
cabra.
that there were multiple teams that would stand around the Mandel brick, but not actually commit to taking it yet. They didn't want to be some of the first ones, but Killzall, like I said, the only double-digit fragger from the semis, is definitely looking to get involved.
Looks like Jack 10 and Handsome gonna pick up the
Cara, ponta da arma pra fora ali, doido.
two parts of the Blue Eagle. Always a funny conversation. Not funny though. It's a couple bullets to the face. Does look like actually Ink trades blows and wins the encounter, dropping the top fragger from SFC. Loco down first. Just a depleting of resources more than anything else right now. Blue Eagles helicopters trying to help and finish them off. Paid actor there, but so far nobody's moving towards the brick. This could have been an opening signal flare for Mangu's team to maybe make a play for the brick, but nobody's willing to move first. The helicopter outside providing a bit of audio cover for maybe some of these teams to start creep walking towards this brick. You told me it was going to be slow to start things off, and you're right. Good grief. These teams do not want to move first.
Yeah, it's a little more slower than what I was thinking of, but very reminiscent of last weekend for the semifinals. Now, EU, they definitely amped up the pace a bit, and they would have already had the Mandel brick on the move, but it's respectable, right? You do not want to fall out here early. Think about what this is going to do when we kind of mesh all the 8 regions on LAN. It's going to completely shift because you have to adapt to how everyone else is playing and be able to counteract it. For now, we're just going to maintain this slow-ish pace. For black and yellow, they are going to have to leave that Tower of Babel at some point, and will likely dictate depending on if someone does decide to pick up this Mandel brick.
Nice gold bar there from Skies off screen. Well, 300K. They've pumped up all the way over at 2.6 mil. On the left-hand side of your screen, well, you've got a moment because nobody wants to move first. Assets obtained, when you see that tag, that's in this map alone. Just showing the individual map leaderboard. 2.6 mil there for Bay. Mangu's already at 1.1 mil. Some of the gear they've found. So on and so forth. You can also swap it to total assets, and that'll show the overall leaderboard between all of the maps. And look at production. There's the overall leaderboard. Ink at 7.9 in total, including what they found on this map. This won't necessarily take into account the kills, which of course we haven't had any yet. And some of that'll be totaled after, but this will give you kind of a live update on where we're at on this leaderboard, which is nice value add, but wow. Four minutes passed. I feel like I could be a golf commentator right now.
I mean, you really could. You really could. I watched Happy Gilmore 2 the other day, and the golf commentators were in there. There was like 100 different cameos in that movie. It was kind of wild, but nah, some good moments here, and there'll definitely be some more here. You can see Killzall just kind of prone there on the other side of things, ready for someone to walk into that line of sight. What we could talk about is the fact that we're seeing our first Lunas coming into the mix, right? No one really wants to waste that on a airdrop round. You want to maximize the utilization of that here in these Mandel brick rounds. So to throw her alongside a Toxic, and of course you've got your engineer in terms of the Luru. So this is a strong composition that I was expecting to see on a Mandel brick round. But when you do have kind of your top fragger there, Killzall, locked and ready to go, I just want to see someone kind of poke the bear, right? Someone start a riot, because you know as soon as one team gets involved in a fight, everyone's getting involved.
Yeah, and all the meanwhile, Black and Yellow have found another almost 700K to the graphics card and another gold bar. I mean, they are just farming over there in the Tower of Babel. Of course, some of this is dictated by spawns. Like, if I'm Jack 10 and Handsome, I am kind of not forced to, but the most optimal position is play the outside of this building and wait on somebody to move. I don't think they expected people to sit here for 7 minutes or so waiting on somebody to go. But they have to kind of play this outside angle because we have to play for this decoding station. You got to remember, I mean, we think back to the semifinals. If you get a Mandel brick, you are making finals. It's not quite that simple for this, but if you get a Mandel brick, you're almost assuredly a top 2 team. Absolutely in the conversation, at least, and able to play for it. But all quiet on Western, Eastern, Middle front. The only ones moving in the south. And they're just looting up.
They're in a world of their own at this point. They are just living their best life, but we are going to get a replay.
Oh, no.
Fine.
Jacaré assado, cara.
This croc is Barry, maybe, but he's trying to get active.
Carne de jacaré é
Really
bom.
National Geographic style now. I was going to make a David Attenborough joke. I could never live up to that man's name, but they killed the gator. Had to do it to him. That's brutal.
Also, Happy Gilmore, right in our face yet again. Totally fine. But we start hearing all the noise in JTH from the west. And I believe this might actually be the Blue Eagle that's trying to start something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we had to call on the devs and say, ring, ring, hey, let's get this eagle shooting at people to get things moving. That's exactly what's happening. They do finally take down the actual pilot. They killed the co-pilot earlier, found the angle on the pilot. Now, you can loot up this helicopter, too, so you actually could find some decent loot out of it. We'll see what they're able to find. Hey, yo, nice. Little key card, not too bad. Nothing super expensive. Looks like it was about 300K or so. 2 of them. Take that. Actually, sorry, that's not what I thought it was. That's the survey. I was about to say, there's no way the key card's cheap. That's the Muse survey. Nice. Actually, some pretty solid loot. Pushed them up to about 800K. We take the museum surveillance route. It is a key card. All right, I'm getting baited.
It's totally fine. They didn't have anything that was of value until this initial moment. They had just kind of been anchored down looking for third parties. But I do want to prioritize the fact that North America, they're playing smart. They don't want to take a fight that is going to be just not in their favor. So whether or not that's being conservative, waiting for someone else to pick up the mantle brick and escort it up to a decoding station where then they can rip it from them, I understand that play.
You know, Tiff, that's a nice caster way of putting that this team strategy, all team strategy on this map, besides black and yellow, is to just wait for somebody else to make the first move. Which I think is the right thing to say. I do want to yell at them and punch them and tell them to get to moving because I want to see some action, but I agree. Strategic gameplay is the right answer. Not violence. Strategic gameplay. We're playing for a spot at land. We're playing for a spot to compete for 500K. A big moment. Black and yellow have jumped up the leaderboard quite dramatically and have closed the gap. This is total assets on the left-hand side, so the margin's quite thin here. And they're saying, wait, did everybody else, like, leave or something? Should we just go get the mantle brick? They haven't heard a peep besides Blue Eagle, who's now dead. That's the NPC. This might be a world record for the lowest steps taken in a game of Delta Force.
Imagine poder criar o que quiser, só com o poder da imaginação. Conheça a base.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Ink, you're my heroes. I knew you guys would be the first to move. You were slain out in the first game. It only took you almost 10 minutes, but we've got the brick and we're on the run and everybody knows it. The floodgates are open and we don't got a lot of time on the clock here, Tiff. I think this is going to be a race against their opposition and a race against the clock. And they are sprinting to a decoding station. The question is, do they go to market? Or do they head all the way over to camp, where, funny enough, look who's rotated to camp early. It's black and yellow trying to read them like a book.
So that's awesome because JTH was kind of on the west sitting on one. And of course you had SFC that might have been lurking towards that mid-map to another decoding station. So black and yellow, after completely looting the new Tower Babel by themselves, they rotate over to Osira camp, which is exactly where Ink is heading. So now where you look to see where Bay specifically has positioned. Zomo here kind of playing off this ledge, threading towards this kind of lookup, will have such clean shots depending on how they decide to filter through this. But he could just also say, hey, you know, I'm getting some audio cues. I'm going to go ahead and back up, maybe hide behind this. How do we want to assess this fight and kind of start that moving? But they actually, wait a second.
They've got a decoding station. This is the first time we've ever seen a team do this. Not only world record for how long it takes to take the first steps on our map. I think this is the first time we've ever seen in these competitions. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rotating all the way down to reservoir area for the decode. They knew everybody else was north, or at least they expected it. And so they've rotated all the way to the south to play for this decoding station. What a move.
Yeah, so most people don't pick this one, so I almost kind of ignore it. But yes, this is a very viable decoding station. Of course, it's a smart move to play. Now, here's another reason why I think this is super incredible, is waiting so long in this match duration, which has only been about 20 minutes, you're forcing the hand of teams to amp their pace up, right? Because the moment they steal it, there's a good chance that there actually won't be enough time to decode it. And throughout the journey of trying to get to the reservoir station, all of our teams are starting to collapse on each other.
Yeah, a great find here. Here's a look over top of this fight. SFC trying to play the backside of this engagement because Black and Yellow was the first to rotate. They came out of camp. Everybody knows where the decoding station is and where this Mandel Brick is.
Os caras vão deixar o cara pegar o Mandel Brick mesmo.
There, but they didn't read that Black and Yellow were already at camp. So Black and Yellow rotate early. They hear the footsteps behind. They catch one in transition. Loco is down. Top fragger out, and it's a 3v2. This is not for the Mandel Brick, though. This is for first to the Mandel Brick. And with a knockdown, talk about the efficacy of Viren on main stage. A perfect knockdown and a perfect cleanup. Well done from Zomo. Black and Yellow moving different on this map.
And that's wild because SFC is the team that completely annihilated the semifinals in Group B. 2 Mandel Bricks, 29 million, just really excelled. But now down to just a solo here in match number 2. Likely not going to be getting a Mandel Brick for themselves here. And we'll have to wait until they get it back on Space City. For AKA, though, bottom of the leaderboard with 3.4 million asset. Going to have to kind of get things moving. Now, where they're situated is going to be close to that middle of map extract if someone does decide to pull the lever.
And it's going to be first. It's going to be first to Mandel Brick, potentially rotating through Tower of Babel. And I want to say that Ink is holding this angle already. Killzone's in the corner.
Mentira, o cara deitado nas costas deles, velho.
Easiest flank of his life. They don't know he's here. Trigger discipline. I like it.
Mentira, negócio desse.
First, they can turn and kill him. Finds one that was already weak, finds the other, Saniva isn't able to get the knock. Maybe a hair too much discipline, but picks up one, and it looks like Killzone able to trade out another. So it's going to be a 2v1, a perfect setup from Killzone to be able to play the trades. And with this 2v1, the enemy has seized the Mandel Brick. Take a look, top middle quickly. There is no more room on this Mandel Brick timer. 320 on the decoding timer, 322 on the overall map timer, and Ink has wiped JTH. What a setup from Killzone. All of a sudden, Black and Yellow, the team to watch out for. They've got the code going, and if anybody steals it, I don't think anybody can get it.
Well, it looks like FC is going to get one of their players on up, and for AKA, still trying to hit a regain here. God, this is just wild. Killzone's nutty.
Is a perfect setup. We've got to watch that back in the replays. They played one out prone behind, played the trades from behind, caused enough commotion to win the fight overall. The problem is Black and Yellow were rotating up from the north because they won the fight in SFC. Because they were able to do that, they now have full control over the decoding station and the opportunity for Ink to get back into this game after they've lost 2 players. So Ink's down to 1. AKA's down to 2. Black and Yellow have the advantage and currently the Mandel Brick, but they have to play extremely close to this decoding station, Tiff. If this gets stolen again, no one's getting the Mandel Brick.
Which is what the majority of our lobby would rather have. We would rather have no one get it than a team claim it. So
let me respawn in Rome, please. Yes.
To play to perfection is going to be difficult. With 2 minutes on the clock, you can see the first opponents, the challengers towards the Mandel Brick are lurking. AKA, keep your eyes on January. That crouch walking is going to make him be one of the first players there. But SFC is taking the same initial rotation, and Sky's read it. Picks up spades, hits the full, and it's going to be tough here for SFC.
Golly, shooting nukes. Didn't even have a chance. A huge take. Neva operator is going to be a tough one to deal with. They don't care too much about that. You've got to protect this station. It does look like Johnner, by the way, is basically playing on the decoding station smartly. So should be able to trade out one. As long as a full team of 3 doesn't rush it, he should be okay for Skies to play this long angle. And I think he's being called back by his team right now. He and Zomo both turn to maybe try to help out Johnner because they hear some footsteps behind. Somebody smoking the decoding station? No, not yet. We still have time.
I fear that all of these teams might descend upon the decoding station at the exact same time, knowing that as long as we get it from them, no one gets it. Thus diminishing the amount of mantle bricks throughout the total series down to 3, but Zomo picks up another. SFC, though, instead of fighting the team for the mantle brick, they're just taking out whoever they can find in Mengu. That is unfortunate for you.
Yeah, we've got a lot of trades happening right now because they have to. 60 seconds on the clock, or less now, 45 seconds. SFC finding a sizable amount of kills. We actually lose Skies from the backside. This is bad news if you're black and yellow. If you want this mantle brick, you've got to win some of these gunfights. You're going to have to go huge. As Skies is down, we only have 2, and Johnner's not looking at the decoding station right now. Now he can play the low side. As long as Johnner doesn't get taken, nobody can take this decode. He has to stay looking at it, though. Somebody's going to make a run for it, and they're going to lose it. I don't think he hears the footsteps up above, and they lose it. SFC, he turns away just for a moment. Maybe he gets called off of it. No one will get the mantle brick in game 2, and now it's just a slugfest for the next 10 seconds here, Tiff. All of these kills worth 300K. No one getting out of this map.
No one is getting out. Everyone's losing something. We just wasted so much time, and now no one gets a mantle brick. This was the biggest stalemate of all time for match number 2, and I don't even know what that leaderboard's going to look like.
Just to make sure they have something to buy anything with. So, through it. We got 2 teams already inside of the Tower of Battle.
Be an airdrop map, so more chances for higher quality helmets, for armors, all of the goods here, and the potential for more of that Lapua ammo. But we want to keep in terms of is who is going to make it out again. Do we see something similar to that match 1 on Zero Dam, where a lot of people just loot up quick, find some nice valuable assets, and then dip? Because I think that's going to be smart here.
Yeah, I think so too. With how close this leaderboard is, loot value is going to be a major component to team success. I think in the last competition, we were talking mostly about mana bricks, but with 1 down and nobody grabbing that first brick, loot value could be decently even spread.
Ooh, but as we gear up for our last map on Brackish, get a good look at our crocodile up in here because we saw him go down to some incendiaries in match number 2. However, we also have seen it happen in the semifinals where he has bit back and taken down some of our players.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Watch out for the croc. But here's a look. Okay, a quick look at the map, and things have definitely changed. We got 2 teams in Museum, and they are sprinting through it. We got 2 teams already inside of the Tower of Babel, and a third, SFC, going to go join the party over there as well. Whereas AKA have the entire northern side of the map to themselves. So likely going to see AKA kind of sprint around, make sure they check all of their angles, realize they're alone, get a decent amount of loot. But the battle for the Tower of Babel likely going to be the first fight, albeit probably one that will take a very long time as these teams are hyper strategic.
Still love kind of the poke off at the Royal Museum occurring right now as well, because there is going to be some valuable loot that is going to make it. You grab it, you go. Zomo right there, grabbing that gold bar, kicking things off strong.
Yeah, we'll take a little 331K start. Not a bad way to start things off here in the museum. Black and yellow. They were down kind of on the leaderboard based on what happened in Zero Dam. But in this last map, closed the gap to where they're not even within striking distance. I mean, they were within, you know, grabbing hold of the people in front of them on the leaderboard distance. We'll see FSC slow walk into the Tower of Babel, potentially join this fight. Again, kind of a classic conversation. You don't want to be the team to scam, so you really do need to take a look and check every corner, check every angle. We do see a champagne bottle picked up by Mango's team, who's been slowly but surely finding some nice loot across the map, being mostly out of some of the engagements we saw in the last couple maps.
Spades right now, doing donuts, circling around. Very exciting.
Yeah, this Loco team maybe are just going to play trap on exit. They are, I mean, all of these teams are very obviously extremely patient. That's at least one word for it. But they could just play the fact that they know these teams are going to come back out of the Tower of Babel in theory. Of course, we have the dog tag extract at the top of the Tower of Babel, but they may just try to play for whoever comes out.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, kills all.
Hey, wait a minute. Is there an extra digit in there? That's 2.1 mil. I want to say it's 210K. I forgot what that item's called. I think it's called like the server or something like that. I'll get production to help me out with it here in a bit. But that's 2.1 mil. That is a nice find. Oh,
Ah, pô,
totally.
vai,
That's the military radar. Great guess for me, though. 2.1 mil. Nice find military radar. That will take up the entire safe box. So this player
Nada
really
militar
doesn't have to do
portátil.
anything else with even their lack of
Jogo
backup
fora.
on it. They might trade it off to their teammates. Make sure that they're all appropriately looted. But that's going to stay in the safe box. Absolutely. 2.1 mil is a huge value add for Inc.
Way to kick things off. And as you kind of look at our operators that are chosen for, once again, a non-Mandel brick round, you do have a Stinger coming in, you got a Hack Claw, we have Nox, and I know you were kind of talking about Nox not necessarily being kind of one of the most favored in the current meta for that to happen, but I think it's nice if you're just focused on kind of looting up and then prioritizing taking that early extract.
Esqueça tudo que sabe de jogos de guerra. Jogo de ação em larga escala War Thunder vai trazer.
Yeah, agreed. Could see a player take some loot out. But again, if you fill up your safe box, you don't have to worry about getting out of the lobby. It really comes down to when your team is kind of full. That's when you might stack a player with all the loot that you have. Make sure you all get out, and then the 2 players can go around and play spoiler. SFC, as expected, they're sitting on kind of the exit of the Tower of Babel. I don't think they're going to engage in this fight if it ever does happen at the Tower of Babel. The fight that will most likely actually happen is going to be back in Museum. POI is just not near as big as the Tower of Babel. We'll take a glance over there while we pay attention to our map. So far, the 2 teams obviously know each other, are inside the museum, so they're slow playing this as well. As AKA is just running around on the north side of the map, picking up all the loot they can find as well. You see them 3rd overall in this map alone on the leaderboard on the left at 1.1 mil. Here we go.
Opening shots coming in, the poke, the prod, everything. Whirlwind disc going out. Want to see if that's going to connect or at least kind of live there to try and favor off any push. But this is just a long range fight here. You see Baby B on the other side, just kind of peeking through. Can we connect?
Yeah, this is one of the classic fights in Brackish in the Tower of Babel. This is one that we've seen on broadcast a ton. I'm sure for those that play Brackish a lot, have played this fight before. A long sight line with bulletproof glass on the side. So it's kind of just about who makes the first mistake or connects the first headshot and what weapons you're using potentially to find the angle. Oh, there was a chance there. Players dropping down. You're going to watch these 2 teams likely play this extremely slow. And then if a team gets a knock, you can actually just see their opponent through the glass. So you can push pretty aggressively to play a closer angle when it's a 3v2. Off screen, though, it does look like finally Black and Yellow has found an angle on Jack Tan and Handsome back in that museum fight I was talking about. We'll swap over there as needed, depending how close that fight is to breaking out fully between the 2 teams.
Well, Inc. right now cannot afford to go down, considering this is a race towards the asset value. Since we haven't had anyone be able to grab a Mandel brick, Inc. is going to have the highest risk here with that 2.5 million. Now, granted, 2.1 of that is likely in a safe box.
That's right.
Black and Yellow, though, shows off the patience. The patience is trying to pay off, but it's Zomo last alive, looking for the final player. The beatdown might occur. JTH.
My goat sing-song with a triple. What in the world? I think Black and Yellow ran out of ammo. And because of that, ran around trying to knife in the air. Holy cow. What a win from Sing Song. Clutched it up in the Delta Force Elite Invitational. Top fragger for that team, MVP for that team, and he does it again when they needed it most here in Game 3. Should be able to get the revives, no problem. You're going to be seeing JTH back all together again after a nice win over Black and Yellow. Wow, what a fight to win. As we swing back to this fight, there was a trading of blows, a couple revives. As Mingo is just poking and prodding, like you mentioned, at Inc.
That was so tough. That was so tough. Dude was so low just trying to hang on there, but that clutch pays dividends, right? 900,000 is going to go to their way just from that engagement alone. which is the majority of more of what people have looted here. Like Mengu's only at 1.3 mil. And if you add the 273 plus the kills that you just got, look, you're living large.
Absolutely living large. Early engagement, just a knockdown, but in trouble. Spades finds the off angle, looks like over the top angle actually, to finish off that knockdown and make it a full knock and now a full kill. It's a nice pickup here for Spades to make it a 3v2. Finally, SFC said, fine, we will do it ourselves. Instead of third partying, they just walked in and took this 3v3, making it a 3v2. The question is, where is Mingo's team, and will they get a piece of this action as well and wrap around the other side? I think they're a bit too worried about the long angle, not knowing maybe that they should have a free rotation to join this party if they want to.
I love that we're kind of like working on our magnetic bomb cooldown. You constantly, every so many seconds, just kind of throw it on out there, making sure in case they do decide to push, but too easy here. Triple Blaster is going to be great for this kind of doorway that you can keep the pressure onto them, which is tough. SFC clearly fresh off a fight, wants to get aggro. And I respect that because now they know they've got the player advantage, 3v2, and it's not like Ink is going to be able to just kind of run on up, grab their homie, and get on out.
Yeah, you might have to sacrifice this one and just try to get out of the map if you got decent loot. But again, you're right. It's in the safe box. It doesn't matter. 2.1 mil was that military radio, so there's really no reason to leave. As expected, Articuno finally finding some decent loot off screen. They have the entire north side of the map to themselves, so they're just going to be looting up. 276k is nice. Mengu's team surprisingly not getting involved here.
Ooh. I mean, Loco had what, 11 kills from their semifinals that ended early, which that goes to say something because I was talking about Killzall, who had, I believe, around 13, and they went the distance. So Loco knows how to take smart fights and put up numbers, and we got double Viren on this round, so we want to get into the thick of it. Yeah. Loco just kind of waiting for that opening, right? Maybe we see some magnetic bombs come on out.
Pretty surprised we're running double Viren this map. I agree, they have to play pretty aggressive to get nice usage out of it. That means they're not going to see a Viren for the rest of this tournament. Again, surprising because obviously Viren is inside of the quote-unquote meta in terms of pubs. Customs, still super valuable. And oh yeah, I thought there was an angle there for a moment. That knockdown is so brutal to deal with. It's the reason that Ink is down to 2 players. So to have 2 versions of it, I think they were just waiting on the cooldown for it, shoot it out, and actually don't connect, at least the first one. But it's so brutal that it'd be nice to have in a Mandelbrot round theoretically, but hey, I'm not the competitor, I'm just the yapper. See what they can do with it.
See, I would say Mandelbrot round, but when you look at North America and how conservative they've been in those Mandelbrot rounds, maybe they're just not putting the value of some of those assault operators onto that, right? So Viren for SFC must not be what they value, aside from like those engineers that we want to focus with on those rounds.
Yeah,
regardless, they could hit a dynamic propulsion and make a play off that, which sounds really aggressive and maybe too flashy. Could be fun though.
Oh, I like it. Gonna go for the flash. Could swing out on this. They know it connected. Gets scared, I think, from a triple blaster or just a nade. They don't make the play. With the door closed, Ink is scattering to the winds. They've got to hear the footsteps here. They got to know that this team just started sprinting for the hills. Now they're hot on their heels. In the meantime, by the way, I was going to give you an update on Jack Tan and Handsome, but the game's done it for us and production's done it for us. They're out of here. They got their team wipe. They got some solid loot, and they said, we'll see you later. We'll see you guys in Space City. They even tagged me in Discord and said, wait till you see us in Space City. Got something special cooked up. All right, boys, let's see what you can do. Nice team fight win in Brackish. And speaking of Brackish, we got some Lapua ammo and an AWM because this is not a Mandelbrot round, which means it's an airdrop round, and AKA reaping the rewards.
Look, playing the long game. They're constantly kind of starting that battle, right? We're at the bottom of the leaderboard through a couple rounds now. 4.1 million obtained just in this round. Now, sighting out Just ahead of them is going to be
Cara,
Ink,
acaba
but
embaixo dele,
also
olha.
AKA.
Vou dar pulinho,
Is
ele
the
ele
team
pega a
that is
visão.
still trying to kind of wrap around them if they can. I want to see Baby B get involved.
Ele
I
dá
want to see a crazy
pulinho.
play.
There is a player right in front of Baby B. Oh,
Pelo amor
first
de Deus,
AWM
deixa
shot
solta
on
essa arma.
main. Unfortunately misses. 60 MG. I'll have to conserve all of them. Would like to get a knock with it. It's 300k per kill. Of course,
I'm nervous because you hear it, right? You hear that shot. And the next thing you know is, I'm not peeking that angle again. Heck, I'm not peeking at all. If I'm Ink, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the sound of an AWM. So when that shot even misses, you're right. They are out of here.
Yeah.
AKA, I think they're splitting up some loot right now before they head out of this map. And again, I mean, you got to get out with the AWM. You can't stack ammo for the AWM. It's like you can't put it in your safe box. It's one of the rules in our long rule set. So you got to get out of the map with it. And so they're going to try to make their way out of this map. That middle extraction point outside of the new Tower of Babel is gone. Jack 10 and Handsome took it. But Ink's going to try to find a different way out of this map, maybe all the way to the north side if they can wrap around AKA, who are likely headed there as well. Inside of the Tower of Babel, we still have a fight on our hands this time between SFC and Mango. Again, surprised that Mango didn't get involved in the fight earlier. When they heard shots going down, they knew they weren't getting held, but instead they played patient. And who knows? Let's see if they're the reason, or rather their decision is the reason that they win this map.
Ooh. We'll have to think about how we're going to work our way on out of this. 5 minutes or so, just above, left in the match. In SFC, Spades with 1 kill throughout this entire game is just itching. I feel like they have been poising themselves to find a fight, and now that they find themselves here alongside Mengu on the opposites, it's got to happen. Someone has to open the door and make this fight.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm not telling you to Leroy Jenkins it, but let's get involved here. SFC, all team of 3. Mango, all team of 3. We're just going to run the clock down here. Reminder, to get out of this map, we either got to pull these levers, or we got to head to the north side of the map, or maybe the helipad. If you're going to head out of the extraction in the Tower of Babel, you got to have an ID tag. I believe it's limited spots as well, so I don't really know what we're waiting on here. Maybe assuming the opposition's going to make a play, AKA as expected. Going to get out of the top side of the map. Going to get here before Ink and take it. Nice play from them. They've got a pretty good game going, especially they got a military satellite. Nice job. Pretty solid loot. You can see their totals. This is across all maps on the left-hand side.
Esse é você. Espera, não, esse é você. E você quer conquistar o mundo de Albion?
A pretty strong map for them.
É,
It looks like only 1 player. So that's what they were doing. They were stacking their loot on 1 player. They dropped some loot up there on the north side of the map. And they're going to go try to play spoiler and just go play for kills. Reminder, each kill's a 300k. I don't think you've forgotten, but I want to remind you because it is important for these players. They're not losing all that much for not getting out. You can go make a play for a kill. Now, levers have been pulled, so we do have the extraction back active again, Tiff. Middle of the map, outside of the Tower of Babel, and it is just enough time. Literally 10-second spread between match timer and that extraction timer. We will see a fight at that extraction point.
Oh, 100%. You've got AKA that's kind of working towards that rotate over on that western side of things, and at least Ink does make it out with their duo, Baby B and Too Easy over there towards the eastern side of things, but will SFC hit a rotate, leave the Tower of Babel, and go for that extraction point as well, or will they do some other things here?
I can only imagine everybody's going to play for this extraction point, and we will see at least an iota of action here in the final 3 minutes. But hey, I have wished for more in the past and haven't gotten it. Definitely going to see AKA make a play for this, though, to try to gatekeep.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a duo left, right? At least one player did already manage their way out, which is a very similar play to what we were witnessing in EU. I believe it was Fallen that would typically send a player home early, back to the lobby, safe and sound, and then the other two would just wreak havoc, which I'm okay with. I do love a little bit of disruption, especially if you're looking to work on the way out on this extraction point. But the time is just going to keep on ticking down. And it'll be a scramble.
Yeah, AKA's got it to angle over the top of the extraction point. They can creep a little bit further up. It's a very long angle, frankly.
Very good.
They do have one. SFC is going to rotate. If we can take a quick look at the map view here, you're going to see some of the teams rotating out. Mingu's actually rotated out the reservoir area side of this extraction point. SFC on the west side. Here's the overhead look at it. At the very least, SFC on the left side, Mango on the right side. Two members of Inc. on the right side as well. Here's the first encounter, AKA just on the north holding SFC. It is a 2v3 though, remember. Favoring SFC.
All right, Grimmy. Hitting a sprint out here. Double Viren. Ready to see some action, and Mengu getting closer. These two will likely be the first couple people that run into each other, so you have to keep tabs onto Ink, but at least you do have Hat Claw, which is giving you the information that there are 3 players lurking in the midst, and you immediately take some shots, but not before that inevitable flash. I think I just saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
About to see the light at the end of their life right now. SFC, a nice hold and magnetic bomb over the top. Unfortunately, isn't able to explode in time. Forces Mingu back, though. 39 seconds on the clock. 26 seconds on the extraction point. If you want to get out of this map, you better make a move for it. Mengu has an angle for it. Loco's playing on the extraction, Spades on the off angle to play the trade. They should be able to do it. Through the smoke, though. A couple connects. They got hit markers. They know they're there. Ink is able to trade out one. From the offside, there's 7 seconds. You better sprint. Let's see how many people hit it just in the nick of time. Here we go. Ink making a run for it, and they get punished for it. Mangu holding. They pick up a couple. AKA on the offside. They wanted to play spoiler. They're able to do it for a couple players, and a couple people get out. It is only 2 members of SFC, Grimmy, and Spades out of this map. Everybody else in a bloodbath in the final seconds, and only a couple people getting paid. Ooh, that was a weird one. Gotta say, missed opportunity for a lot of teams. They moved way too late.
Se você quer criar um app, mas não faz ideia de como programar ou por onde começar, conheça
left. Mandelbrick is now every
About
247, 220 per fund to Theorycraft, because we're just at the beginning of this esport. And there is no meta way to play this yet. EU played totally different from North America. North America playing totally different operator choices. Every team playing this slightly differently. But with 3 maps to go, you've got to get a Mandelbrick. And folks, we all love a good Space City map, and we're on Space City for the rest of this tournament. Whether we play 2 more or we play all 3 of these next maps, Tiff, I'm pumped about it. Let's see where everybody spawns in Space City and who goes where.
Oh, get us into it. Maybe we'll have some crazy fights, but everyone relatively positioned towards their area. We're equal distance around that. But you can see Black and Yellow, AKA, and even JTH are getting involved in trying to set their footprint early on where that Mandelbrick will spawn. Now, Goj, was it JTH is the ones that messaged you and said, hey, just wait till Space City, wait till we show out?
Yeah, I mean, hey, they showed out in the DFEI. It's the reason they won the competition was the Space City round. So, hey, look, I'll take it from them. We'll see if they're able to execute on their game plan. They're going to be playing through Chamber here, what I call the southeastern quadrant of the middle of the map. I said this during EU. You basically have the 4 corners style around this Mandelbrick when it spawns here in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. You can see that timer in the middle of your screen on the map view. Can't pick it up until that timer is done. Everybody lays claim to a building in this quadrant. There's a couple of decoding stations that have been really fun to watch. By the way, while we've been yapping, Killzall and that Ink squad decides not to play around the Mandelbrick, and they've actually found, I think it was 2 drives worth about 227K apiece. So a nice early lead on the overall asset category.
Something to note here is that Inc is one of the only teams to kind of come in with full gold armor. So it's like they're geared up to take a ton of people down or really chow for that initial Mandelbrick, since that first one in match number 2 was pretty much scrapped. I think this is the first time we're actually going, I say this, but all of these teams could be positioning to your right, coexist by the Mandelbrick and dare someone else to grab it.
AKA just running up the middle. They're going to take the middle position of the map. Be curious to look at their perspective as we take a look at black and yellow, JTH, all moving towards this Mandelbrick, all moving to a position to try to take it. AKA has taken the middle. Ink's actually found spades on an off angle on the right side of the map. Here's a look, potentially, at that encounter. It seems like Ink just wipes spades as well, so he's going to be on yellow timer. There's the encounter. I was taking a look on the map, and SFC's been playing this bridge the whole time. This is one of the longest sight lines in the game, and Ink is punishing them with the loot they brought in. TTK is going to be real fast in this one. Yes, we're going to see gold armor, purple armor for some of these teams, but we also see tier 5 ammo. We're going to be frying.
Oh, no, they're solid gold. I will say JTH did bring in some gold ammo as well, but didn't really prioritize the gold armor. Only one player has the gold helmet and armor, so kills all here. Solid gold.
Come on! What is this nonsense? Guys, I need some...
Quickly dispensing of that, and honestly, I love that we're kind of pushing up to where we found spades, because that would mean that the rest of SFC is likely lurking around here.
In the meantime, by the way, everybody's lying in wait around that Mandelbrick. Don't worry, we'll swap if it gets mixy. You'll see the Mandelbrick able to be picked up here right now. There it is. See if anybody's moving towards it. Yes, black and yellow immediately move towards it. Don't waste an iota of a moment. Grab the Mandelbrick and run for their lives. They're trying to get this Mandelbrick into a decoding station quickly, as the rest of these teams are moving slowly. This time around, folks, there is no waiting. Black and yellow heard the call and said, let's get active. We're trying to win this tournament. We're trying to make it to land in China. Let's get mixy. And they're going to swing way outside. And they're actually skipping this decoding station. No way. Yet again, a new station on main stage. We're headed all the way up to the dormitories. And look who's already there. They spawned there. They've been hanging out there. Mangu playing this decoding station. This is going to be fun.
I'm nervous because I can't remember if this is the team that decided to go down the west gate, but you see the util is going to come out immediately. They could have waited a bit longer until they were in a more like precarious situation, and then it easily picked them up, because all that does is send off the warning bells, send black and yellow down and out, and they're like, okay, this was not a good move for us. So now where do we go? Do we go to the one that's kind of in that entryway just across from the buoyancy lab, or do we decide to go to Black Chamber? Black Chamber is going to be pretty difficult to go to, and I think this is going to be the one that will likely be the focus.
Yeah, this is the one that we've seen most oftentimes because it's the closest to the decoding station. They just took the longest possible route to get there. Mandelbrick goes in their decoding station. Here we go. Now, as a reminder, too, if you didn't watch EU Space City, if you haven't seen this in a while, this decoding station, extremely hard to lock down. You basically have two choices. Either play in this front building, or the front side of this building, or the back side of this building. And it looks like black and yellow are trying to do a little bit of both. With nobody here early on the decode, they can kind of set up however they want. You're going to have AKA over the top. JTH, Jack Tan, and Handsome down below. Zomo catches the wrong end of a couple bullets. Decides to back up a little bit. Asking for some help to play these trades.
Okay, but I mean, we still have it. And honestly, we've seen players play from this position before. You just kind of anchor down in this building. These doors are going to provide some information, right? As soon as you kind of maybe, if you need to shut them, you can, but you know JTH is here. You've already sent out the warning shots. If I'm JTH, I'm backing up for the time being. I don't want to be the team that has that first kind of initial battle here. Let someone else open that up. And hopefully someone does waltz into this so it allows you to take that third party.
I think it's a great shout, Tiff. We've only seen a team get a free decode on this station one time. And that free decode was not the winning moment, but it was the moment that set Mandelbrick Addiction from EU up for the win. They were given a decode for free for some reason. People said, no, we'll get it in the next one. And unfortunately, the next one, Mandelbrick Addiction got that as well and win the whole tournament. So I don't think North America will let this one fly. Not for free. Information gained by AKA. Articuno over the top. Bulletproof glass. We're going to find the full team of 3. Watch which way they're rotating. We're going to have to play this decode. Black and yellow. Still plenty of time. 2 minutes on the clock. Patience a virtue, but at some point it's going to come back to bite you here, Tiff.
I mean, plenty of time. Under 2 minutes. It's very similar to what we saw in match number 2, right? No one was looking to get involved, but at least from this line of sight here, you can kind of look towards where we could potentially see some things. Ink now on the move. I think we wrap around this and kind of focus on. For JTH, looks like teams are starting to rotate in. SFC, the duo.
They've got a knock on SFC, so this is huge to get the cleanup, which they should be able to do so. Hopefully a couple frags could do it rather than using gun, but either way, it looks like our crawling players actually made it inside. A little bit too late, a little bit too slow on the draw for JTH. Let me draw your eyes back to the top middle of the screen. 60 seconds for black and yellow on the clock. Does look like Loco eventually bled out there. Could be able to get the revive, but JTH knows, hey, we got to make a play for this mantle brick. Black and yellow are giving a mantle brick for free right now if we don't make a play, and Mango's thinking a lot of the same. They're going to come up from the low side. Infant Baby could play spoiler to this team, but you really want Mango's team to get into the mix and go make a play for the steal, and then you come in third, like you mentioned, Tiff. Everybody converging on this point, but we are running out of daylight. Somebody's got to make the first move, and whoever does may get punished for it, but they may save the day before black and yellow take an early lead with the mantle brick.
And you have Skies kind of watching this first door that's going to be closest to the member of Mengu. So knowing that that door is likely going to open the moment they hear something, and there it goes. Skies on out. You can hit the detection arrow and then start throwing down the Volt arrows as well. But we're going to prioritize the Volt, save the detection for later.
10 seconds.
And now, just have to anchor down. You grab the knock on a Zomo. You immediately pop onto it. Do you have enough time to go ahead and steal it? There it goes. Locked in. 3 minute 30 on the clock.
Holy cow, Mangu goes absolutely insane. Ice is up in the moment and steals the decode. The timer reset, but Mangu not done.
O jogo épico de ação online O Thunder está pronto para detonar a sua rotina entediante. O encoraçado.
They feel like they're hot, and they are, so they're going to push this equation. They swing over, and unfortunately get pushed by Loco. January, no Articuno. AKA win the gunfight. Mangu might have stolen it and saved the day against black and yellow, but they get punished. They overheated. They get cut down. The first team to get eliminated in this map.
Someone's going to have to steal it, though, because if it does go through on the decoding, it likely will not, and it will get thrown away because they are fully wiped. For AKA, a nice bit of steadiness for the time being. And JTH, they have answered the call. They heard the fight, and Equal sends straight around to get lasered. Articuno picks up 2. Equal and Nowhere, both down and out. Oh, my God.
AKA coming alive. Now, the funny note is that Mangu is technically the team that has the decode going here at 2.5 minutes. There is no rush for anyone. Worst case scenario, nobody steals it. Mangu doesn't even get the brick because they're full wipe. Just nobody gets the brick. Of course, that will not happen, but there isn't a rush, and there's plenty of time on the clock. AKA gonna loot up, grab what they can on bodies nearby. 60 MG is way too far away. They've been doing this as a duo. We've seen January and Articuno do crazy things on main stage before. But this is a highlight level map waiting to be finished out by them if they can pick up a couple more kills.
Caramba, vão pegar o Mandobrick mesmo, morto tá com a porra não.
Okay, I see some reses coming on through. But for now, SFC will be a duo. Black and yellow looking to get their homie back on up. You can see that timer going up. We're getting closer to picking Skies up. You can see AKA in the back, moving closer towards the decoding station, and Smokes on out, not actually gonna pop on it just yet. You have Ink down this line of sight that will be difficult to contend with.
Oh no! As they had the angle, January, you are so lucky a couple of those bullets didn't connect. Able to stay alive for a moment, no, gets punished. Zomo peeks out the door, takes down Jan, just overextends there for a moment. They wanted to steal the decode, but they had plenty of time. They didn't have to force it, but as a duo, they get punished. Articuno now the last remaining player for AKA, so we swing over to Killzall's angle. He's got an angle on the door. If black and yellow sell by overextending here, he's gonna punish them. I think he hears some footsteps down below as well. Gonna try to get some info with the guided missile. Wait, there's one running out. He connects on it, drops Zomo. Says, you're not stealing anything, my friend. Take a missile to the face. Aluru coming in clutch as he makes a play through the smoke. He's got a time. 30 seconds on the clock. He should be able to steal this here. Ink now in charge of the mana brick, but everybody knows he's there.
Second place hailing from the regional semifinals in Group A. And now JTH said, let me get involved on Space City, and look who shows on out. We do see Nowhere kind of fall right there towards the end, but not before they were able to grab a knock onto Killzall.
Ink in a bit of trouble. Killzall, the hero to steal the decode. As a reminder, the decoding, every time it's stolen, drops the starting timer by 30 seconds. So it was 3.5 for the first steal, 3 minutes for the second steal. We're at 2.5 currently. If it gets stolen, it'll jump back up to 2.5. It'll keep decreasing on every steal. Minimum, though, 1 minute and 30 seconds. 7 minutes on the clock. We've got plenty of time for multiple steals here, but we'll pay attention to those timers as the teams try to recuperate, recover, Ink back on their feet, and technically in control. No one having to move too early here as Jack 10 and Handsome get to a power position to hold the store.
JTH and Ink are the only trios left alive. You know JTH is kind of thinking, hey, black and yellow, there's potential for them to still be inside. Ink is down here just a bit farther. That's going to be that team of 3. And then you have one member of SFC lurking. You can see about half health down there towards the middle.
He's actually down below in the middle, you're right, so he's going to be hanging out. It looks like he doesn't even have all the meds he needs to get back to full health, if I'm reading that correctly, which is insane, so just going to try to play spoiler to somebody and pick up 300k. JTH, albeit they don't have the code currently, Ink does. They are probably in the most powerful position. They have the best angle. They have control over the alleyway here. They can make a play for this brick right now if they want to. There's only one player that can spoil it. It's Killzall. Nice shot over the top. Make sure no guided missiles are hitting you. Of course, the swarm comes in. It's going to start depleting your health. And he doesn't get the decode?
No, he popped off at the moment the swarm came in and connected.
Oh, I thought he was just going to commit to it.
It's not like they have any smokes to make use of that. And they keep on trying. 37 seconds to go. Ink could potentially another incendiary coming on through. We try to go for it, but we lose our life in the process. Equal Nowhere, the last 2 members for the time being of that team, but it's Killzall. So the lineups are so crazy for him in terms of those incendiaries.
Okay, JTH, they jump
Sei que era bagulho ligeiro, pô. Não que nem baixei antes.
And so does Bay. Black and yellow down to solo. Black and yellow out of here. The perfect setup from Infant Baby. The perfect setup from Ink. They have maintained control over this alleyway with the long angle of the incendiary. Samsung almost stole it on the first take.
Mas tá demorando pra porra, bicho. Falta dando ali, falta 45 minutos ainda.
Took him out before he got the steal, which means as he went in and died, Equal also had to go in and die and get knocked at the very least. Unreal.
Deixaram o cara pegar mesmo.
Nowhere the last running player on their feet for now, but they do have control of the brick currently. Jack 10 and Handsome just buying a little extra time on the map, getting their revive. They're going to be a duo fighting a full team of 3 of Ink.
Deve ser,
yeah, but Killzall is going for it right now. We know that JTH is focusing on getting their teammates back on up, but what they do is they extend on out through the hallway and decide, okay, we're going to hand on it now. So we still have this 2v3.
Nice. Inks jumped the body, jumped Sing Song's body, taking control.
Baby
is taking the power position in this alleyway. They know there's a lot of teams out of this map. We can play a little bit more aggressive when we have player advantage. They're going to swing on this fight. You're going to need a hero play from Jack Tanner. They get the knock, one down. It's a 3v1. If they play this correctly, they play over the top. They don't even need the help. They find one. But Grimmy's comes in from behind. We knew he'd play spoiler. He's got to win a 1v3. Jack Tan and Handsome are out of this lobby. Ink in control of the Mandel Brick right now, but plenty of time. Grimmy, as a solo, going to have to be the hero. Picks up one full wipe. 2 players remaining.
Aqui vai, voto sim. Puxa nela. Ah, acaba de se ligou, velho.
Isolate them. If your Ink, as long as you stay together, this should be a fight that you can take and win. Reminder here, they came in fully kitted out with gold. Mostly gold ammo. Doesn't matter, he finds too easy. Grimmy looking for a clutch.
Through the smoke finds the
Mentira que mentira, acaba fez isso.
He is the hero. He waited, lied and waited.
Cara, o cara mitou, velho.
The crocodile snapping at your ankles, wipes all 3 players, steals the brick, and there's enough time. My neighbors can hear me
Então,
right
Matheus, o
now.
cara tirou onda agora.
Unbelievable job from Grimmy. Perfect patience, perfect breaking sight lines to isolate the 1v3s into 1v1s.
E não classificou esse time, né? Foda.
Unbelievable job. This
Porque
team is different.
não foi a K e a
This
NK
is the true
que tava no Mundial.
definition of absolute cinema as we run that back. Because I don't think we can see it enough.
Cara, moleque jogou demais.
This is what I'm talking about. He got the first knock through the smoke, finds the second, realizes the second player is behind him to the right. He breaks line of sight and then re-chows it. And Infant Baby wasn't ready for it.
E aí, eu jogando.
Unreal wipe. Full team of 3 down and enough time to get the decode. Grimmy is just loving life right now. He doesn't technically know that the entire lobby is wiped. He's got to stay looking at this decoding station just to make sure.
Só que
But oh my
acaba que ele
goodness.
contratou pra jogar com ele e
A
não
hero
são bons, né?
amongst the plebeians of this map.
Eu tinha dado aula a
This
ele,
man
então
just went absolutely massive, Tiff.
eu tenho que pagar mais.
I have no words for it either.
Eu fiz você tá sozinho.
That Ink after
Coração
the
do cabo
wipe
deve estar a
on
mil
Jack
uma hora
Tanner,
dessa.
we've done it, boys. Perfectly executed. Because they played it perfect till this guy showed up.
Oh, as soon as you push on a JTH and you're
Mandel
literally
Brick.
keeping them in that corner, the Mandel Brick secured 4 kills for him, 1.2 million in asset value right there. And not only that, but you get to run through every single body that is left on the ground with just a minute amount of time, right? And I don't think we're getting out of here, and that's okay. Because you know what you can do? You have some stuff for your safe box.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you find some decent ammo, actually. Yeah, you're right. You get out with only your safe box. So
Mas não vai dar pra
whatever you can
extrair,
stuff in
adiantar o
there,
quê?
you're going to lose everything else. Some ammo, maybe some parts potentially. Actually, I don't think you put parts in there, so it's just going to be ammo or any loot that some of these players weren't able to
Ninja
put
tá pegando só as balas.
in their safe box. The ammo box is going to be easily the most valuable. ID tags also have inherent value in our tournament format, so might as well take those as well. I think they're a couple 100K actually.
É o capacetinho.
And swapping things into your bag at this point won't make a difference. It's all about that safe box, but gonna do some mathematical calculations we've all done before. The
Pega
loot
bala
Tetris.
também.
We got the full gambit. We got the
Kenny.
full operations gameplay loop. Hero 1v3s, making the lobby look like
Cara,
1,700,000.
milhão.
And then the loot Tetris at the end. And a Mandel Brick decode.
Acaba zerou a
Great word for it,
partida,
Tiff.
bicho é foda mesmo.
Just cinema indeed. But here's the deal. When we get back to the lobby, what is it going to look like for our players that have lost the fight here? How much value did we lose?
If you're S, you have to have.
Acaba zerou o game, doidinho.
The legend himself. There's the first take, a super important one, a 3v1 nearly. And obviously the score is pretty close after the 4th match because really nobody got out of the map. By really, I mean everybody. No, not one person, Jeff. Black and yellow. I mean, because we're not fighting and we're actually quickly remind you of what happened in that competition. Les Durants, one of the favorite teams going into the competition.
Eu acho que vai ter esse.
How much those Volt arrows
Mundial
are.
Mobile, eu acho.
surprised, right? If you get
Acho
some
que se
initial
tiver,
shots out,
Matheus,
you
vai
can
ser
make
pela
those
Garena, tá ligado?
connections, and those volts, if you hit, you automatically get that kind of
Aí eu
layer of
acho
information
que
there's still a
ele
player
não vai deixar
over
320
there,
não.
and it may not kind of outline them similar to the detection area, but I
Garena que é
still
mais,
think those
que é mais
lineups
focado
are
pra
very
mobile, tá ligado?
important here. You can see just how much they can bank them through doorways, bank them around corners, and as we gear up for match number 5, so curious to see what we're
Deve ser
going
massa,
to
velho.
be working with. I'd imagine a couple engineers across the board, a ton of gold armor, gold helmets, gold ammo. We're solid gold, baby, for match number 5.
Here we go. Quick look at the spawns, and as expected, you asked me what I would do, and it looks like everybody else is doing the same, or at least a couple of the teams. Mengu Inc. first to move towards the brick. JTH seemingly following as well, aka getting there.
Essa partida terminou
Close
com...
by, SFC, the one team that's staying in Central Command and going for loot. Now,
É o terceiro mapa. Terceiro quarto. Terminou no último mapa, velho. Vai doido.
Of what happened in that competition. Later on, one of the favorite
Esse já
teams
que
going
passou
into
a
the
NK
competition
e a K, então eles têm que ter pegado no Mandou Break.
Because of that, they decided to play extremely
Então,
slow and
terceiro
play
mandou
for
break.
loot value to protect their place in the leaderboard.
Aí
Unfortunately,
o quarto já terminou
by
na
doing
quinta.
that, they allowed another team, Mana Brick
Então,
Addiction, to
cachorro.
get a Mana Brick for free. Then Mana Brick Addiction won the next map, getting the brick and winning the tournament, and they ended up falling out of the leaderboard. However, as much as that feels similar to what is
E aí, Menezes? Rapaz, eu acho que não. Eu não vi ninguém falando não, se tinha liberado não.
potentially could happen here for SFC, it is much more unlikely for SFC to get knocked out of the leaderboard because we only have this map in one more, Tiff. With the lack of maps left, I think the right play for SFC is play for loot value. Hedge your bets that even if somebody else gets a brick, we're going to have more loot than them because we're not fighting and we're actually getting out of this map. But I think it'll kind of depend on what they find on the map. Got to find good loot to make good use of that plan.
You definitely have to keep your eyes on JTH. Played spoiler a lot and are already getting involved. Black and yellow on the other side, and Sing Song here locked into the Shepherd. You can see we're starting to lob all that utility. Luna here on nowhere. You got the frags, we just expended 2 of them. You throw out the detection, you connect with 1. Still have 2 volt arrows lying in wait, and we're gonna start stringing them together.
Yeah, extremely weak. You got an advantage. I don't think they want to pressure this because they are a bit afraid that they'll sell it. It's just a tough fight to take. We're going to back up a little bit. Both teams deciding to play this nice and slow. A nice depleting of resources while some of our teams are looting off in the distance. Mingyu finding a nice disc for about 230k.
Not bad to focus on that considering how tight that leaderboard is, right? So it's like you still have to play the best of both worlds here because it's now I can't even say SFC goes. We're kind of getting a little tongue tired. It's like they're just out here trying to do it. Tell me what it stands for at this point. Is it going to be some fun little thing kind of like JTH? But if they're up in Central Command, if I'm them, I don't want to descend down from there. Focus on getting some loot up on the board, right? As soon as you get the call that that Mandel brick and has spawned, someone has picked it up, then maybe decide to work on throughout.
Into
the map we go. Will someone run straight at it like we saw black and yellow in match number 4?
And Mandel brick is active. You can grab it. It doesn't look like an immediate pickup this time. Everybody playing a little bit safer. Jack 10 and Handsome is actually wrapping on the backside of Mingyu right now through the alleyway where the decoding station is. Here's a quick look at him. Early engagement looks like they've already traded a bit of blows onto one member of the Mingyu squad who's playing the low side of this building. The other 2 are inside. We've been here before, this time early. As you can see Blue playing the long angle, actually running a sniper this time around.
It was mobile,
right? Just play back, look for some nice entry damage, help your teammates, but sometimes you can still grab pickups. Volt Arrow comes on through, and I love that we kind of dodge it, shut the door, and be like, nah, no, we don't want this yet. Maybe we will. Maybe I can find a lineup. Maybe I can hit this shot and really turn our favors. For black and yellow and ink on the other side of the Mandel brick. All the action coming through, and you think Zomo is going to connect, but it's ink. Maybe being too easy or just swarming through the black and yellow roster.
Black and yellow down to a single player, in trouble, and getting chased by a Saniva. This spells bad news because get over here.
Stop.
Gets
Got it.
crushed.
Get on
Seneva
it.
hunts down their opponent. Seneva wipes black and yellow.
Run that one back. My
I got
man
so
just
many.
got grappled into death because not only that, he puts him straight into the shield, and then the two remaining members just completely destroy him from the other side. The most brutal way to fall on out of this, and knowing just how close everyone is an asset value. And you're like, okay, do we just loot it up or do we go for the mantle brick? Well, black and yellow take the early exit and don't get to play for either.
Yeah, it's actually a really good shout. Black and yellow being out of this lobby is brutal for them on the total leaderboard. Look at where they're at on the left-hand side. This is total assets. This is our current leaderboard through all games right now. They're at the bottom. Yes, the spread is so insanely tight that just a decent game could have leapfrogged them up. It's not assured that you have to have a mantle brick to make land. If everything gets stalled out, nobody gets a brick. We've already seen it once. Just the team at the top with the one brick will win it all. Everybody else is ranked in loot value. Loot is insanely important. They are out so early, Tiff. But the battle over position, no one has grabbed the brick yet.
Very respectable. And this is going to go back and be very similar to what we saw in match number 2, right? Just kind of starting to inch closer. Inc. is going to be the remaining team from the eastern side of where the Mandel brick spawns. You still have SFC lurking in the north. Mangu out here on the west. And honestly, AKA is like, not sure if I want to get involved just yet. And all of this is very smart, considering JTH has been outside the building that Mangu is occupying and has decided we are going to be incredibly patient. Now, they do have that 2-1 split across the way here. It's just a little too reminiscent of where they fell out of this lobby.
Imagine poder criar o que quiser, só com o poder da imaginação. Conheça a base.
In match number 4.
Yeah, here's the thing, too, I want to remind everybody of. There's one key, micro strategy note that everybody else can keep in mind. When the brick is picked up, it will tell the entire lobby if a quote-unquote match point team has the brick and puts it into a decoding station. AKA, everyone will know if SFC grabs the mantle brick. So when this mantle group is eventually grabbed and put into a decoding station, when everybody gets the read that it's not SFC, they know the tournament is not over if somebody else gets the brick, which will free them up to kind of play whatever play style they want. If it was SFC that was running to grab the brick right now and puts it in a decoding station, then everybody had to respond, especially if you're down near the bottom of the leaderboard in terms of loot value. So keep that in mind. SFC, as expected, playing a much more defensive strategy. They're going to hang out in central command building and just wait for somebody to make a move and then either try to address it late and come in for the third party and clean everybody else up, which they did last time as a solo, probably easier as a team, or just let them fight over it, kill each other. They're going to make sure they get out of this lobby beyond anything else to just bump up their total asset value.
I mean, these are all really good strats, and honestly, if that's how it plays out, great, perfect, love that. This isn't necessarily a perfect world that we've been witnessing from our lobbies here in North America. They've been all so different, so conservative, but also utter madness in the same vein.
A deep breath from the operator and a deep breath from us in the booth, because this one, a lot more reminiscent to the first. The first mantle brick round, no one would move until the timer forced you to. Seems like we're going to get a lot of the same. There it is. Just kidding. Ink says, I'm going to make you eat your words because yet again, I'm the one to move first. Yes, they waited a while. But the exact same thing happened in map 2 on Brackish. This time on Space City, Ink making the first play, and they are leaving the middle of the map. They are headed south, potentially, or at the very least to wrap around to a new decode. Unfortunately, Articuno hits the snipe of his life as he's down.
Oh, we knew that was going to happen at some point in time. AKA patience playing off. We knew they were kind of watching towards that mid-map, but that angle, the distance is insane. They got the res, though. They're back up on all 3. AKA closing the distance, but look at this. We have preserved it for this specific moment on Space City to bring that one on out.
It's a great read You can see over the top, Ink just trying to find their way to a decoding station somehow, some way. Articuno has the AWM from, I believe, round... Is that round 1 or was it round 3? Either way, a nice hold till this moment to use it in this round. AWM going to be a game changer on this map as we head to the internal decoding station. And AKA grab the brick, AKA plant the brick, AKA start things off.
Setting on up, you got the Saniva, 2 engineers here for the defensive side of things, and a Toxic. So I like what we have around to use. Now, what we also have is that gold armor, gold helmet, some gold ammo in the hands of January. So we are kitted. Now, you think about what we're going to go up against. A couple of our other teams did come in with solid gold as well. SFC, the team that is on that win condition, actually playing on all purple right now, and only 1 player with gold ammo for the time being. And if they do decide they want to make use of this and shut the tournament down right now, they have just over 2.5 minutes to make their mark.
Well, there's only one team that knows what weapon Articuno's brought in, and it's Ink. They just got hit with it. AWM holding some of these sight lanes. Extremely valuable. We're all body stacked in this kind of storage closet. Because again, Space City decoding stations are so interesting, but you can't actually hold right on top of them. I guess unless you're a Saniva operator, which is a nice boon.
There's those audio cues, and we are just kind of shield walking our way up. Open the door, shut it, open the door, but it's Saniva v Saniva. These 1v1s have been some of the most interesting things I could have imagined. But on the backs of 60 MG, you got Articuno in January pilfering through. Some reinforcements coming in for him. Kills all here. But I like that we're repositioning. It's a little bit of a stalemate through that route.
Gonna play over the top. Eze is not waiting. Gonna swing in just to make sure there's nobody up above. Clears it out. Says it's all clear. Gonna move up. SFC, by the way, they're coming down here to close this tournament out. I'm a bit surprised. We saw them briefly. You can see them through the wall there. SFC is gonna be in the green. If SFC get to this mantle break and get the decode, they win the tournament. We don't even play game 6. We're about to hit 60 seconds on the clock. Frankly, all hell is about to break loose.
It really is, but are they going to be able to do it? If anything, I hope that what they can do is find some kills and boost up that loot value, because like you said, if there's another team that grabs the Mandel brick here, it's going to be so close in numbers. Look at SFC on the total assets compared to AKA right now, who is the current team decoding that. 0.9 million separating them.
Anybody that gets the brick now is getting all that much closer to LAN. SFC get the brick, they go to LAN. It comes down to assets, 30 seconds on the clock. And 60 MG is holding the lane as Saniva. Does anybody want to contest? If you're going to, you better move now. AKA gonna get this for free? There's no way, right? He's just gonna sit on it.
I think Ink's going. Kills all right now, the Saniva. The data swarm comes through, it's gonna start ticking. Once it connects, and look who's filtering through. January up and at him, but the beatdown is here. Saniva wants to get wild, but nowhere, down and out. SFC makes the play on a JTH elsewhere, but look at that. AKA still has it back. 2.5 minutes.
Unbelievable, Tiff. The Saniva standoff, and it actually goes to the side of Ink. 60 MG just didn't want to sell there, didn't want to risk dying. I think he could have gotten active, but we'll come back to that later. The timer reset. Everybody can breathe for a moment. 2 minutes on the clock. As AKA have stolen it back, by the way. Ink stole it to reset. AKA steal it back. A big moment, though, as massive fights breaking out across the map. The only team fully out is black and yellow, which was a long time ago. SFC took down a couple members of JTH, who are down to 2 now. As Mango have found an angle onto Spades, getting the full. It's a 3v1 down below on one member of SFC. Don't tell me he can do it again. Loco by himself. This time a new member of SFC trying to play hero in a 1v3. This time not going to make it out of dodge. Not this time. SFC back to the lobby. The tournament will not end here, but somebody could join them at the top of the leaderboard if they get this mantle brick.
The question is, can AKA close it out? They were so close the first time. They lose it, they steal it back. But this standoff with Ink inside the corridor will be difficult. Mengu, though, just trying to say, when is the right time to join the party?
Ink just stole it back, resetting 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, AK finds an angle. It's January on the off angle. That's actually taking down the Saniva operator, if I saw that correctly. It's a huge take. That means Ink can't get back to this position on the mantle break. We gotta steal it. Wait, look from behind. Mengu, welcome back to the party. Maybe at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're playing spoiler. Just kidding. You get wiped. All of a sudden, we are down to 1 player, January. Mengu's team set up a nice pinch on both sides after Ink got pushed off the point. Because of that, January is a solo right now. Ink still technically in control of the decode, but everybody taking a breath. We still have enough time on the clock for everybody to remake a play, get a couple revives, and try to fight for this final position on the mantle break.
AKA back up to 2. They're trying to probably get their numbers back in the mix. Mengu now looking to get to a team of 2. But as all of this is occurring, that time is climbing down, and Ink is just a team of 3 looking to secure themselves a Mandel brick, aka back up to full fighting potential here, and are yet gonna contest them again. Will they be able to steal it back? Because this time is just dwindling, and of course it will be, I believe, at a minute and a half if they can play.
Oh, magnetic bomb to the head. There's efficacy in fire in the trading of blows. Battle, and only 1 player remaining for AKA. With a team of 2, they've got to force the equation, and they do it. AKA still down to 1. Ink will not go down without a fight. Ink with 20 seconds on the clock. Ink likely about to get the mantle brick. And they've got their friend able to get back into it, but Mengu's going to go for the steal. Maybe, no, can't get inside in time. Eze trying not to sell, but we got to pay attention to this decoding station. You could win it right here if you look at it. No! Sing Song! Tan and Handsome coming in! It's utter chaos on the point. Mengu getting into the mix. Mantle brick has been extracted. Ink get the brick. They are alive. They have the mantle brick. No one's able to steal it in time. Now it's just about playing cleanup. Unbelievable sequence. Ink gets saved by the bell. Ink gets saved by their opponents. Ink get wiped, but they get the brick, and that's all that matters.
They did have some players alive when the Mandel brick was decoded, so now we can just see everyone looking to clear things out. JTH full wiped. The only 2 players left on the map are here from Mengu right now.
So much chaos in the corridor here. This corridor can barely support 2 teams, let alone 5. The utter chaos ensues. Magnetic bombs, bullets flying.
Novas features
que chegam como headshot para.
1 team stands tall, but 1 team will be at the top of the leaderboard, and those squads are different. Mengu, the last remaining team on the map, gonna optimize their loot for the final minute or 2. But it's Team Ink. Play the corridor perfectly. And funny enough, Tiff, the team they have to thank for that win and for that mantle brick is the team that wiped them. Mengu plays spoiler here in a huge way to make sure AKA can't steal the brick back. Here's a quick look back on the replay of that moment. Here's AKA. I mean, Articuno has 1 HP in a dream. Sing Song cleans him up. But the fight right here, look at Mengu coming in from the backside, playing spoiler to Ink. Because they're fighting this entire time, they aren't able to get to the brick in time. Yes, they get the wipe, but the brick is out of this lobby, and Mengu wipes the rest of the teams on the map. A couple key points here, but at the end of the day, Ink's going to be at the top of the leaderboard with SFC as the only 2 teams with the mantle brick.
The best part about this is I saw 8 kills. 8 kills. 8 times 3 is going to be a substantial number. They should be able to... I think they're running towards this no backpack extract, so maybe we can get a couple players on out. We'll feel pretty good about it. But it's going to come down to getting a Mandel brick in that final match if you want to go to LAN, now that we have 2 different players that have one. So make it close. Have a 3rd team grab a Mandel brick in that last match and keep tabs there on that total asset value, because it is going to be insanely close.
Yeah, whoa, that was a breathtaker. A brutal, chaotic map. It's so funny watching the 2 different extraction, or rather, sorry, decoding stations as this team extracts. The two different decoding stations are so vastly different. The one similarity is there's just kind of one big sight line. The difference, one CQB indoors, the other outdoors with some longer sight lines and some longer abilities to play. But I'm just flabbergasted by the end of that map. Just barely, by the way, getting out in time. Mangu's team will get out. Believe all three able to do it in time. No, just one, it looks like, able to get out. We'll double check that afterwards, but even still. And of course is Ink at the top. But the minutia of that map, Tiff, I think Mangu...
Eu termino de ver isso aqui. Vai lá. Obrigadão quem assistiu até agora. Valeu. Tamo junto. É nóis.